I'll start this video with two readings from Carl C.G. Jung, or Jung. I don't know how to pronounce his name, like I don't know how to pronounce every word in every language in the world, but I sure know how to read their books nevertheless. We go to page 168, a parallel from pagan antiquity. We'll start with psyche and symbol, because we are in the symbol part of my series at this point. If you made it this far, congratulations. I know I've ranted a lot, it's been a lot of static, and I apologize, but if you made it this far, you're doing what you're supposed to. Although the Mass itself is a unique phenomenon in the history of comparative religion, its symbolic content would be profoundly alien to man were it not rooted in the human psyche. But if it is so rooted, then we may expect to find similar patterns of symbolism both in the earlier history of mankind and the world of pagan thought contemporary with it. As the prayer Supra K shows, the liturgy of the Mass contains allusions to the prefigurations in the Old Testament, and thus indirectly to ancient sacrificial symbolism in general. It is clear then that in Christ's sacrifice and the communion, one of the deepest chords in the human psyche is struck: human sacrifice and ritual anthropophagy. Unfortunately, I cannot enter into the wealth of ethnological material in question here, so much content myself with mentioning the ritual slaying of the king to promote the fertility of the land and the prosperity of his people, the renewal and revivification of the Lord through human sacrifice and the totem meal, the purpose of which was to reunite the participants with the life of their ancestors. So he's talking about the parallels between Christianity and the Aztec culture and how you get back to your ancestors through these symbolic rituals. You know what, I'm going to run out of time. I'm already at 2 minutes, so let me jump ahead to page 170. And upon the next day, the body of Huitzilopochtli died, and he who slew him was the priest known as Quetzalcoatl. And that which he slew him was a dart pointed with flint, which he shot into his heart. He died in the presence of Montezuma, and of the keeper of the god who verily spoke to Huitzilopochtli, who verily appeared before him, who indeed could make him offerings, and of four masters of the youth front ranks, before all of them died, Huitzilopochtli. And when he had died, thereupon they broke up his body of dough. His heart was a proportion to Montezuma, and as for the rest of his members, which were made as it were to be his bones, they were distributed and divided up among all. Each year they ate it, and when they divided up amongst themselves his body made of dough, it was broken up exceedingly small, very fine, as small as seeds. The youths ate it. So they broke up the dough in the Aztec culture as well. I would love to read you this book. Asians and me were like this. My best friend, well, I don't want to undermine my friendships with other people, but a close friend of mine is an Asian, non-Arab Muslim, you know, and he doesn't exactly agree with me about everything either, but I'm sure he agrees with me about a lot of things. We go to, I'm going to read the other Jung, portable Jung, page 363. On the top of the page, you know, it's psychology and alchemy. Notice he makes the same kind of parallels I do into the occult, into religion and science and medicine, all in the same basket. You think I make this up? You think I did all these years of research for nothing? You think I bought all these books and borrowed all these books from people and downloaded all these books and bought Amazon and blah 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 and on Barnes and Nobles, on and on, for nothing? Martin Luther King Library, for nothing? Please. The Mandalas in the dreams. For the sake of completeness, I will recapitulate the mandala symbol. Excuse me. Thinking of South African psychiatrists. Anyway, which occur in the initial dreams and visions already discussed. The snake that described a circle round the dreamer, the blue flower, the man with the gold coins in his hand, and the enclosed space for a variety performance. The red ball, the globe. The next mandala symbol occurs in the first dream of the new series. He's talking about mandala symbols. He's talking about alchemy and religion and medicine. Okay? He goes on to talk about, I'm going to read a few captions so you get the idea what he's talking about. An unknown woman is pursuing the dreamer. He keeps her running around in a circle. That's the sixth dream. Seventh dream. The anima accuses the dreamer of paying too little attention to her. There's a clock that says 5 minutes to the hour. Another dream. Symbols. On board a ship, the dreamer is occupied with a new method of taking his bearings. Sometimes he is too far away and sometimes too near. The right spot is in the middle. There's a chart on which is drawn a circle with its center. Night's dream, a pendulum clock that goes forever without the weights running down. So he goes on to talk about symbolism in dreams and cultures. And I also have another book I can't find. It's called Symbols in Nature, Patterns in Nature, something like that, along those lines. It perfectly exemplifies what I'm trying to say, but let's go on because I got 4 minutes left. So we go to Richard J. Gillings, and I still got to make my personal mission. Anyway, page 39, the G rule in Egyptian arithmetic. In attempting to establish that the Egyptian arithmeticians must have been aware of what I have called the G rule, I will have to exhibit many examples of two terms qualities. By far the greatest number of instances where the scribes appear to have used the G rule in one form or another in the Rikoto and the 87 problems of the RMP, in the MMP and the KP. However, it will be convenient to use that the equalities of the MELR for purposes of illustration and demonstration, even though the EMLR itself will not be considered until Chapter 9. These references and the small numerical magnitudes lend themselves to such convenient analysis that I cannot ignore the opportunity provided by the EMLR. The G rule is, to my knowledge,